we return once again to the war-torn realm of the Sara Ground, as the Battle Brother detachments of the Ultramarines and the Red Scorpions continue their push against the Orc marauders surrounding the capital. However, the Fighting First Company has been given explicit orders to cross the fiery wastelands and assault the capital from the north in a daring amphibious attack. Mile-high black pillars of smoke bellow forth from the ashen wastelands as the Ultramarines and the Red Scorpions arrive at their pre-dawn staging grounds, preparing to head off against a ferocious Orc force led by the fearsome second-in-command of Ghazghkull's army, the legendary Rootin' Shootin'. The Orc host here was well prepared for any such inevitability of an amphibious assault made by the Marines against their position, and they have dug in along the seawall and prepared for formidable defense against the oncoming attack. The Marines would be up against fierce Orc resistance, and they would have not only the enemy to contend with, but also the treacherous terrain elements, as a ferocious lava river sections off the Marines' assault paths, and they will have to traverse this dangerous piece of terrain if they have any hope of reaching the seawall and to the capital beyond. The Marines pushing on with their main orders surge forward with the Land Raider straight into the fiery magma pits and open up a devastating barrage with their quad laser cannons, which manage to inflict 3 wounds upon the Orc Wartrike. Seeing this, the Speed Freak boys zoom forward and take up position with their machine gun bikes and unleash a hailstorm of shots straight into the Terminator Company, and managing to eliminate one of the venerable warriors immediately. Over on the left flank, the Red Scorpion APC trundles through the magma pits, and the Orc battle tank sights them up and opens fire and manages to inflict a single wound against the APC as it crosses, and its machine guns then tear it up, bringing its venerable vehicle to a mere 3 wounds. Seeing that heavy fire support is needed, the Terminator squad marches up behind the Land Raider's position as the Orc Wartrike pivots hard on the sea wall and opens fire at the Land Raider, only managing to inflict a single wound.
May the machines bear protection, brothers.
Over on the right flank, the Ultramarines attack APC, trundles forward over into the magma wastes, and promptly opens fire at the Orcs up on the rocks before them. With their heavy las cannon missing its mark, they manage to only kill a single Orc with a hailstorm of heavy bolter rounds. The Orc mob on the left flank sights up the grievously wounded APC of the Red Scorpions and opens fire with every bolt shot they can muster, managing to inflict a single wound upon the Imperial construct. However, it fails its morale test and promptly becomes shaken. The Red Scorpion veterans back over on the right flank rush forward to take cover behind the Ultramarines APC, and then the Orcs up on the rock formation in front of them open fire with bolt shots landing all around. One shot manages to get through, and it clangs through the armored slit on the APC. Back over on the left flank, the Red Scorpion's jump trooper units blast off over the molten river and land safely on the embankment on the other side. Rootin' Shootin' squad elects to hold their position as the Red Scorpion Terminator squad marches ever closer towards Orcs on the far bank. The large Orc mob stationed on the seawall barricades also holds their position as the Ultramarines command squad charges forward and attempts to land on a small inlet surrounded by magma. However, their landing is a tricky one, and one of the Marines loses his footing and falls into the magma fields below. The Orcs in the trenches elect to hold their position as well, and this brings turn 1 to an indecisive close. The Ultramarines and the Red Scorpions are making great progress against the oncoming wall of Orcs. However, with the river proving a dangerous threat more than they expected, only time will tell the outcome of this fight. Turn 2 opens with the Land Raider continuing to trundle forward through the magma wastes, churning up fresh spouts of lava as it does so. The Orc heavy tank's turret turns to face it, blasting a hole in the side of the APC as machine guns strafe the body, inflicting further damage on the construct.
Blast it, the Orcs are tearing us to pieces out there. Keep your heads down, men.
You can't hide forever, pretty.
The Red Scorpion's jetpack unit blasts over to the mob of orcs on the left-hand flank and clashes with them in a bitter duel of melee combat upon the burning fields below them. They manage to smash apart 6 of the orcs as Power Fist and Sword cleave orc bodies, yet these boys are undeterred and they throw themselves back at the Marines with the ferocity of men possessed.
We are the Founder's judgment. We are his divine warriors of extermination.
The orcs clash bitterly and gun down one of the Marines.
Call that a fight, Beaky. I'll show you how we stack 'em.
Yet these boys are undeterred and pass their morale test, forcing the jetpack boys back towards their lines. The Orc War Trike opens fire with a gout of its heavy machine guns straight into the Land Raider, inflicting yet another wound. Whilst over on the right flank, the Ultramarines attack APC churns forward over the magma waste as the Orcs proceed to light it up with every bolt shot they can bring to bear. Yet not a single hit strikes through its tough reinforced armor. The Ultramarines command squad then dives from their inlet over the burning waste, straight into cover behind strange alien fauna on the other side. Yet the Battle Brothers are too slow, and 2 of the Marines succumb to the churning seas of magma and burn alive, shaking the squad.
Brother, no! I will avenge the fallen. I will avenge your lot.
The Orc attack bikers pivot and unleash a hailstorm of machine gun shots across the burning river, managing to inflict 2 wounds on the Red Scorpion Terminator squad. Over yonder, the Red Scorpion infantry unit barrels across the burning magma waste, and 4 of their men lose their footing and fall backwards into the churning seas. Yet, this squad is undeterred and continues onwards towards the Orcs.
Brothers, find your stable footing. The very planet itself seeks to kill us, but we shall not falter.
The Orcs just within the trenches open fire of everything they've got at the Land Raider, yet its venerable and blessed armor panels deflect all incoming fire. The Terminators stomp forward, their heavy Dreadnought armor managing to resist the worst of the magma effects. They open fire with the storm rifles and miniguns, eviscerating the Orc biker squad in front of them.
Kill them all, leave none alive.
Regent Shooten bellows out a fearsome war cry, and the entire building erupts with gunfire, gunning down all of the Red Scorpion jetpack units.
Take cover, lads. Look to your war gear.
The Red Scorpion's APC manages to rally itself, and the Orcs up on the seawall storm forward down into the trenches and open fire against the Ultramarines' attack APC.
Oi, Beaky, get off my zogging beach!
Lighting it up with a hailstorm of gunfire which blasts apart the unit and forces the crew to bail out as the vehicle burns behind them. The Marines then have to check their footing, and 2 of them fall into the churning sea of magma, perishing before their brothers can help them.
Medic! Medic, we need a medic over here!
The Ultramarine squad inside the Red Scorpion APC disembarks and rushes forward to take cover behind the strange alien fauna in front of them, as the Orcs then throw themselves onto the transport, tearing it apart with their heavy choppers, leaving it a burning wreck on the battlefield. The Ultramarine Sergeant bellows out a devilish war cry and surges forward into the magma waste, their heavy armor protecting them from the worst of the damage as they take up position behind the Land Raider, bringing turn 2 to a close. The further the Marine company pushes against the Orc holdings along the seawall, the more guns the Orcs are able to bring to bear against the forward elements of the attack company. The Marines are getting torn apart as their forces struggle to make gains, and as turn 3 begins, the situation is about to get a whole lot worse. Opening up, the Land Raider charges forward, absolutely annihilating the first trench of Orcs, smashing 5 of them to pieces immediately, with the surviving Orcs managing to swing back with their choppers, yet not a single wound manages to penetrate through the machine spirit's protective armor.
Grind the greenskins into the dust and let none stand between the Founder and his guiding light.
These Orcs are undeterred, and yet they pass their morale test, pulling out of the trenches in good order and preparing themselves for whatever devilish plan the Marines have cooked up for them next. The Orc battle tank's turret then creaks to life as it fires a devastating shot into the huddled group of Marines, blasting apart 8 of them immediately, yet these battle brothers are too shocked to fall back. and with a loud groaning sound, the Orc tank turret turns again and unleashes a hailstorm of gunfire into the Land Raider, yet not a single shot glances through. With shouts and cries in praise of the Founder, the Ultramarines Terminator Squad runs up the trenches and slams headlong into the unit to the side, hurling Orcs aside as if they were nothing more than ragdolls, and caving in greenskin skulls left, right, and center.
Smash, purge, stomp, kill. Let none escape his wrath, for our judgment is eternal.
The Orcs, unfazed by this and enjoying a good scrap, hurl themselves right back at the Terminator Squad, with one Orc axe cleaving out the eye sockets of one of the Marines and tussling with a sergeant, bringing him to a standstill. Another Orc shoves the minigun trooper into the magma fields below. As a final greenskin sneaks up on the heavy flamer Terminator, he skewers him from stomach to stern. Yet, the last surviving warrior is unfazed and pulls back in good order, preparing to weather the oncoming attacks. The Orc attack trike sights up the Land Raider and unleashes another devastating barrage of machine gun rounds, with several shots smashing through, wounding the venerable machine spirit. The Orcs up on the cliffs decide that enough is enough and charge headlong into the beefy Marines, clashing bitterly with them in close combat. As they manage to smash aside the Marines' bayonet attacks, they manage to cut down several of the troopers immediately.
Nice try, Beaky, but I'm gonna gut ya.
Yet the Marines strike back with an unbound fury, forcing the Orcs back up onto solid ground amongst the magma fields.
Kill them all, brothers. Leave none alive. Avenge our fallen. Now we shall rid this planet of the foul filth.
The Orc troopers that just got done looting the Red Scorpion's APC charge headlong into the command squad, cutting down both of his surviving retinue.
Watch out, Commander! Look out! Orcs all around us!
Yet, the captain swipes back, caving in a greenskin skull, and he passes his morale test and falls back in good order.
It looks like the Beaky can fight. I love it when they do that.
The Red Scorpion unit inside the Land Raider then disembark and prepare to rush forward against the Orc positions. However, they are swiftly undone by a hailstorm of gunfire, which does little but kick up dirt and debris in the visors of the Marines. The surviving Red Scorpion squad then climbs atop the now vacant cliffside as Rootin' Shootin' orders his troopers to unload of everything they've got against the Red Scorpion squad, and they disappear against the magma mist of blood and viscera. Rootin' Shootin', satisfied by this, pivots quickly and fires out of the window, with his shots managing to kill another Marine, yet this last warrior is simply too shell-shocked to retreat. The Terminator squad, led by the Librarian, thunders across the battlefield and crashes headlong into the surviving Orcs in the trenches, with their powerful ancient weapons slicing apart three immediately.
We're getting slaughtered, boss!
The Orcs fight back with ferocity unbound and manage to deliver enough wounds to kill one of the Terminators and falls back into the boiling pits of lava behind him.
Only in death does my duty end.
These Orcs unfazed simply break off and prepare for further orders. The Orcs in the trenches just in front of the seawall open fire and deliver a torrent of gunfire into the surviving Ultramarines, leaving only 4 troopers left. These men then find their courage and scramble up onto the rock face, bringing turn 3 to a bloody close. With turn 3 coming to a bloody and dramatic close, the Ultramarines and Red Scorpions fighting First Company has been utterly reduced by the stalwart defenders of the Orcs. The magma fields are proving much more of a challenge than High Command had anticipated, and with turn 4 opening, the lone Marine on the left flank charges forward and takes a shot at Rootin' Shootin's boys. However, the shot smashes harmlessly off the ferrocrete. The Orc mob continue their assault against the Space Marine captain, who manages to cleave an Orc skull in half and throws him into the magma river, and yet the two back up and prepare for a further duel. How many times must I teach you this lesson, Orc? The lone Ultramarine Terminator guns down 3 of the Orcs with a burst from his storm rifle. whilst the Orc battle tank pivots its gun and takes careful aim at the Ultramarines on top of the rocks and blasts them all to sunder with a devastating direct hit from its main battle cannon. It then pivots and unleashes a rapid firestorm with its heavy bolters right into the Librarian's Terminator squad, reducing both of his bodyguard and leaving the lone Psyker standing on the trench line to face down the Orcs. The Land Raider then reverses slightly down the trench line and unleashes a devastating barrage of his quad laser cannons, obliterating the Orc tank and bringing it down to 6 wounds, and then with its forward-facing fusion guns, it smashes an additional 3 shots into it. The Orc tank commander hoots and hollers as the vehicle does not become shaken. The Orc battle trike then unleashes its own torrent with heavy machine gun blast right into the Librarian, skewering the Marine wholesale and dropping him dead onto the fiery wasteland below. The Red Scorpion squad up on the cliffside shoots off rounds into the Orcs out just in front of the seawall, killing the mere 2 Orcs. Rootin' Shootin's boys then open up with everything they have into the last survivor of the Ultramarine squad on the left flank as he disappears in an absolutely annihilating wave of heavy bolt rounds, kicking up dust and debris all around him. The Ultramarines commander then charges headlong into the last of the Orcs, smashing him to pieces before he can fight back, whilst 2 of the Orc troopers from the trench line further up the battlefield scramble forward and unleash their heavy stub guns at point-blank range, yet the commander's armor holds strong. The Orcs then seek to retake their previous fortifications by charging headlong into the Red Scorpion squad, dispatching the Flamer with ease in the bitterness of melee combat, yet the sergeant swings back around with his chainsword and disembowels one of the Orcs. The Orc troopers in the trench line just in front of the seawall open fire, managing to deal a single wound against the Ultramarines' Terminator. And just like that, the battle draws to a bloody and dramatic close. The Fighting First Company of the Joint Task Force sent on this mission to capture the beachhead to allow a further assault wave to the capital has been all but decimated in this fruitless attempt to take the northern ramparts of the city, and their entire company was wiped out nearly to a man. With what survivors they could finally locate, these troopers fall back under the harassing gunfire of the Orc batteries within Oma-Waaaaghhh. However, just to the south, the convoy which had escaped the firebase assault thunders onwards towards the capital, where next week's battle will take place along the abandoned Curtain Wall.